Hello everyone, welcome back to another Sandbox tutorial. Role expressions, third tutorial, last one for role expressions, and yeah, let's get into it. Okay, so last time we talked about role IDs. We talked a little bit about them, and we mentioned that you could add role IDs to normal roles by doing, why can't I edit? By doing this, using this expression, yeah, with the role ID in here. There are specific cases with very unique words, protected words, we could say, where you're gonna have a specific result, yeah, a specific result from Sandbox. For example, if you add ADV, I think we have this one included. I think, wasn't it role mod? What was exactly? Here it is. So we said str, if I'm not mistaken. Yes. Been a long time. Okay, so we've mentioned ADV and DIS as advantage, disadvantage. Okay, there is also another case, which is Init Initiative. Yeah, so if you write down this, if you write this down, what Sandbox does is it is going to use that role for the initiative. Yeah. So if we do this, just a sec, and we add it to an encounter, if we open up this and roll str, as you can see, the role is counting for the initiative. Yeah. So again, if you add this expression, so the role will be taken as the initiative role. There are also other specific cases, or let's say protected words, that if you use, you'll get a specific result. But in this case, they are used with this expression, with this one, yeah, and obviously specifically for C items. For example, if we use users, this one will return the number of users that a specific C item has on the table. I don't think we have a table with users. Well, yeah, we have the traits table, if I'm not mistaken. We have the traits table. Yeah, let's do it with rage. C item, traits, rage. And let's make the rage raw to return the number of users. Okay, we're doing, sorry if you can't see this, I'm gonna make my camera a little bit smaller. That's it. Okay, so this means that I'm going to remove rage, put it back again just in case we did something last time, and I'm going to do this, and here you have the result is the 3 users that we had before, of course, because once we rolled it we just lost one. Yeah, because if I click another time, you see the result is 2 right before we spent that use. What else? On a similar note, if we use active inside the role of a C item, like we just did, it's going to tell you if the C item is active or is not activated. Is activated or not activated. This is only valid for activation C items. Yeah. If we use actor, as you can see here. Where's rage? Here. Actor, like I just said, it's going to return the name of the actor. oh, I can use it because of course Sandbox can only return numbers. Okay, if you want to return a string, you have to put it inside somewhere else. So I'm going to return a 1, and we're going to, let me write this down here. I'm going to write the expression this way. With total 0, that's it. So whatever I roll is going to be a 1 anyway. I'm going to return actor in the substring of the role. Okay, so let me remove this because that failed. And now here it is, test 4, which is the name of this actor. Yeah. Okay. Now moving on to other role expressions. On previous occasions, I think we spoke about the role expression. This expression registers a sub role, an extra role. Yeah. So the first argument is the name of the role, test role. The second argument is the number of dice, 1. The third argument is the faces of that die, the number of faces, so 6, 1d6. The last argument is if it's exploding or not, false. And the following one is the color. Let's see if this works because it's been a long time since I haven't used it. I think it's used this way. I'm not entirely sure. What happens when I do this? You're not going to see the result popping out on the role template here. Okay? So in order to see the result, you need to do the following. Use the name of the use this expression, question mark plus the brackets, then the name of the role dot total, if I'm not mistaken. Let's do this on strength, on the strength role. And here you have it. It was a black one and it failed. So this means that this was not the thing that I was looking for. Sorry. Yeah, that is with role P. That is not with this expression. So in order to display this role, we can only display the result of this role if you use one of the following expressions: sum, max, min, count higher, count lower, and count equal. Okay, why is this? Because I need to fix this biography tab too. Why is this? Because the register of roles, of sub roles, the only thing that it does is it saves an array, a group of results, without coherence, without a total, without anything. Yeah. You need then, in order to display something, we need to manipulate, to do some operations with that array of results that the role expressions return. In this case, it returns 1d6 result because it's easy. But imagine that this was 2d6. Okay, so it is going to register the first result and the second result in an array, in a group of results. But Sandbox cannot return a group of results. It has to return just one number, and it must be an integer. So let's tell Sandbox that we want to add the result of each of those roles. Yeah, that we do it with the sum expression. So here we are, and we roll 2d6. And once these guys get out, yes, you see the 7. Okay, now max, as the name suggests, is going to check on is going to return the maximum result of those 2d6. So if I change the sum for the max and I roll a 6 and a 1, it's going to return the 6. There you have it. And obviously we have the min. I'm not going to do it because it's the same. Count H is going to count how many dice are higher than a number. So count 8. And count 8 we have to use with a semicolon, and then we have to specify that number. I'm going to count how many of those dice is higher than 3. We put it in the property, we roll the property, and just one, the 4. Okay? Subsequently, count L, as you might imagine, does the same, but counts how many of the dice rolled are lower than 3. 0. Then there you go. And count E is equal. How many of them are going to be equal to 3? I mean, this is obvious. So let's roll again. We don't have any 3, so it's a 0 again. Okay. Again, very important, very important. You use sub-roles to do specific operations, yeah? In fact, in the template in your chat, if you click on detail, you can see an extra role with the name of that role, of that sub-role, test role. Here you have it, 2d6 black, and you have the results here, the 1 and the 6, yeah? But these sub-roles are not the main role, okay? So it's better to use them either or, because you want to do specific operations with roles, check for objective numbers, difficulty numbers, check for stuff, or because you need to do you need to compare or things like that. Because perfectly we could do the same. We could do this 1d6, and we might do the following: total if 0 county. Okay, so if I use this expression, which as you can see I've included a d6 as the main roller, as the main roll expression, once I roll it, I'm going to see those 2 dice of the sub roll, I'm going to see the die of the main roll, but I'm going to return that 6 of the main roll, yeah, because that is the main roll. This is a sub roll that probably is useful for something, I don't know what. Okay, in reality we could use the following too as part of the sub roll. So instead of the total for the substring comparer, we can count the number of dice that is higher than 3. Okay, what have I done here, because I'm confused. Okay, yes, so the argument is I'm going to check on the number of die that is higher than 3. Okay, I am going, if it's 0, none, and if it's 1, more than 1. Okay, so basically what I'm doing here is rolling a d6 as my main roll. As a sub roll, I'm rolling 2 dice, 2d6, and for the string, for the compare substring below the roll template, below the result, I'm counting how many of those roll dice of the sub roll are higher than 3, and if there's none, I'm going to return none, and if there's 1 or more, I'm going to say more than 1. Those are the 2. That's the 5. So we have a mistake, we have an error, because I made a mistake with something and I don't know what exactly. Count H. Is this fine? Yeah, it's fine. Probably this. Sorry. Yeah, I think that's the thing. If not, I'll have to register an expression because probably the semicolon. No, there it is. You see, now it's correct because I made a mistake with the substring. It's a semicolon right after it. None. I have not rolled any die higher than 3. Okay. All right. So that's it. Now, another one of our roll expressions, and a very useful one, is add. Oh, sorry. The format goes away. Add. And subsequently set. So these two expressions, these two roll expressions, what they do is they directly modify a property of a target actor. So I need to create a target actor. Target actor. There you go, the target actor. Okay. All right. So, and I'm going to do this. Okay, so basically this roll expressions, what it does is, as I said, to a target actor, to the name of that property. Let's say it's how many properties do we have? An easy one, HP. Let's say this is a healing spell or something like that. HP, hit points, HP. Okay, so for HP I'm going to increase it in 3 points. Okay. So, limitations of these roll expressions. So the limitation is that it cannot be alone. We always need a result. We always need a roll. So if I do 1 to 6 here, this should work. And again, it will only work if we have targeted. Remember that you can target with Foundry here. We have a targeted token. So now if I roll strength, the result is 1, and HP should have increased in 3 points to this guy. And here you see he had 0 HP and he has now 3 HP. Now, you can combine this with so many things. For example, we could obviously use a roll expression called healing 1d6 false. Okay. And we could use the result, total result, sum of healing to add those exact same points to the HP of the target. Okay? So we use a sub-roll to roll it 1d6. We get the total and we display it as the main result of the roll, and that total again is used to be added to the HP of the target actor. And let me put this here, and my friend test4 is going to add, let's see, 5 points to this guy, so he should be having 8. There you go, 8 here. Okay. Very useful one. Set is exactly the same, works in the same way. The only difference is that instead of adding, it sets that property to that new value. Okay, so if I change this to a set right now and I roll, the hit points of this guy should be 5, and there you go, there they are. Similarly, we could use other two expressions that are that exist thanks to Alondar, which is his godsend. That guy is amazing. add self and set self. So these expressions work in exactly the same way than add and set, but they just don't need a token targeted. They execute the roll expressions upon the same actor that rolls the dice. So for example, if instead of set I use add self, on test 4 and I give him only 0 HP. Now you see HP has increased to 3. Amazing, huh? So possible uses of this, you can do a lot of potions, healing potions, for example, on C items that once they're used and executed and consumed, they increase the HP. You can cause direct damage to other tokens and automate the subtraction of those points of damage and things like that. Another great gem by our friend Alondar is roll P. Sub rolls are very cool, but are a bit complicated to use, okay? And they're only specific for number of dice, number of faces. These ones are very useful for games like Vampire and things like that. I have a whole Vampire the Masquerade system made by using this, and it's way easier than coded everything. And also Wrath and Glory, things like that. But there are occasions where you still need to use to combine the basic roller of Foundry core with some of these sandbox operations. And you might prefer to use Foundry core operations, expressions. Yeah. How can you do that? With the expression roll P. We name this as the same way. It works the same way, dice pool, but it only has 2 arguments, and the second one is the roll expressions. For example, it could be 5d6. 5d6, like Foundry core, okay? And in this case, it does work the following way. It does work with using dice pool total. It should. I have tested very little this new roll expression, but it should work this way. If not, I'm doing something wrong. So let's test with test 4 actor. So it should roll 5d6 and it should return the total of them. There you have it, 17. It works wonders. Alondar is a genius. Again, you could use Foundry's roll expression. For example, 5d6, keep highest. And we roll again and should return 6. There you have it. Okay, so if you still want to use Foundry core rolling expressions in Sandbox, your best bet is to use roll P expression, and you'll put it in the second argument and you can return it with a total here. Fantastic, absolutely fantastic. Alondar is a genius. Now for the last bit of this tutorial, I think I'm not forgetting anything. I think I went along the course of these 3 tutorials. I've looked at everything. We're gonna look at one of my best creations, which is the roll dialogues. So many times, many of you have asked me and requested, can we roll like Roll20, that you roll and you have a variable and you have a pop-up asking you about things? Sorry, yes you can. In Sandbox, now you can. So you can create that pop-up to ask you to input information to complete that roll. How do we do that? With roll dialog panels. So we need to let's create a new roll dialog panel. Roll dialog panel. which is going to be a panel. Like every panel, it needs a key, RD panel. It needs a width. It's going to be a fairly small one, so 1/3. And it's going to need a number of properties. We are going to create one property which is going to be called role modifier, and the key is going to be role dmod. It's going to be a simple numeric. It's going to have arrows. The tag is going to be modifier, and the default value is going to be 0. This role modifier, we're going to include it in the role dialog panel, and we already have our role dialog panel, okay, ready. The only thing we have to do is to add it onto the role property menu, configuration menu. To do that, first you need to check has dialog, and then you need to drag the role dialog panel into this field. There you have it. Now this role is completely ready to do that. Now, how do we use the properties included in the role dialog panel? Well, we do that by the use of the reference D. So if you do this, key name of role dialog property, okay, so if you use D, these two strange brackets, plus the key of the property that you want to reference from that dialog panel, you can use it. So in our case, our role modifier is role dmod. So in our case is this, okay, and we want to roll 1d20 plus that field of the panel, of the role dialog panel. We include it in our role expression, role formula. So now if I click on strength, it's going to roll it's going to ask me with a new pop-up a modifier. I'm going to input it, then it's going to roll it to 20, and it's going to add it together for the total. Wow! You see, the dialog panel is 1/3 of the width, like I said. And here's a modifier. So if I say +5 and I click OK, there's the 13 plus 5, 18. Amazing, isn't it? So on our role dialog panel, you can include so many things, a lot of things. Imagine that we include a second one saying if it got advantage or disadvantage. So let's create another property which is role dialog advantage. So RD ADV, and it's a checkbox. Default value is false, and the tag is advantage. Okay. So, and we're gonna add that to our panel. There it is. And my new role expression is going to do the following. Remember, like I said at the beginning, that this expression gives me the advantage, okay? But it is only going to give it to me if that checkbox is checked. How can I do that then? I'm going to use the if expression, and I'm going to say that if the property of the dialog panel RDADV is equal to true, then my friend, it was a semicolon or colon for if is a comma. Yeah, is a comma. It's just a comma. Sorry, I always forget about this. If not, it is going to be an ID that has no action, no effect. Just, I don't know, no effect. Okay, so if I check, it's going to have ADV and it should roll with advantage. I've never tested this one. I just thought about this. So if it doesn't work, I'm sorry, and I'll fix it. There you go. A modifier is 0. If I check with advantage, let's pray for this. Whoa! and it keeps the 8. Amazing, huh? Absolutely amazing. Now you can imagine the options of these are infinite, my friends. I've done role dialog panels for everything, for a huge number of systems with a lot of options. Last one I think was the Savage World system that you can find. The Suede system, unfortunately, it's in Spanish, that you can find in the Discord server. Okay, the Suede system. So so if I roll the stealth, you can see it ask me for the modifiers. So if I have to ignore the injuries, ignore the fatigue, without the wild die, with how many extra die. And in effect, that expression is full of sub-expressions, checking the explosions of the dice. Yeah, let's roll. There you go. And that's the wild die, and it explodes and go back, and one rise. So yeah, I mean, the options are infinite, guys, infinite. I mean, I think Sandbox now is ready for too many things. Okay, so this is the end of this tutorial. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope now you have all the tools you need to develop your system, whether it's a homebrew of your D&D, which I've done myself, by the way, in Spanish, fully complete. Icewind Dale, if you want to check it here. Whether it's that, or whether if you're an indie TTRPG developer or writer, author that needs to test his to test your system online. So I hope Sandbox gives you all those tools for that. Next tutorial is going to be the last tutorial of this series. Okay, the last ever for this series. This tutorial, the next tutorial, is going to be the most awaited CSS. So the tutorial that's going to explain you how to prepare a character sheet to be this cool, with this background image, with these new fonts, with these tabs, and to prepare your own graphics. So next one we'll see that. Thanks a lot for your support. Hope to see you on Discord, and enjoy sandboxing. Bye.